In this video I'm going to demonstrate how we can use vector cross products to find the area of a triangle. So I've prepared this diagram. The origin of my coordinate system O is sitting back here. I imagine I've got a rectangular prism here, and in this rectangular prism the three corners A, B and C are going to define a triangular shape which I've shaded in, and that's the triangle area that I want to try and find. So the first thing we want to do is write down as a vector the coordinates of point A, B and C. So using I, J and K in the usual sense, point A here is, now I'll have to be counting this carefully, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units along the K axis, and it's neither left or right or up or down. Vector B here, so from origin to point B, it's straight up the y-axis, so how many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4 J. And vector C, point C, now this one's a bit different. We'll have to move across the x-axis and then straight upwards, so there'll be an I and a J component. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps plus 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's no forwards or backwards movement along the z-axis. So these are our three vectors with relation to the origin O. If you like, that's the dotted line here, the dotted line here, and then it would be an undrawn vector from O straight up to point C here. Well, none of those actually represent the edges of our triangle. The edges of our triangle are from point A to point B, point A to point C, and point B to point C. Now, through careful choice, we can probably make our life easier rather than difficult, but it really doesn't matter which choice we make. We just need to define two of these edges as vectors. So I think I might go from point B to point C. Now, what would the vector from point B to point C be like? Well, it would be the second part, the second point, OC, subtract the first point, OB. OC is 7i plus 4j. Subtract OB was 4j. Clearly those two disappear, so we have that vector BC is 7i. And if you think about it, starting at point B, moving 7 steps along the I in the I direction, 7 times I, would take you to point C. That's really all we've done. Now we need one other. Let's go point B to point A. So it'll be the vector defining point A, which is OA, subtract the vector defining point B, which is OB. Notice it's the second one, take the first one. OA we had earlier, that was 5k, subtract OB was 4j. And we don't really need to change them, but I'll write them in order. There's 4, negative 4j plus 5k. Now we'll stop and think about that for a moment. If I was at point B and I wanted to journey to point A, what would I need to do? Well, the first thing says negative 4 on the j direction, so that's 4 steps downwards, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps downwards, then 5 steps along the k-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it makes sense to go the second point, subtract the first point. Now these two vectors, BC and BA, they start from the same point and they define two edges of this triangular shape that we're interested in. They're the vectors that we'll need to do the cross product with. So the area of the triangle will be the modulus of BC cross BA all divided by 2. BC is 7i, BA is negative 4 j plus 5k. Seven times negative 4 is negative 28. I cross j is k. 7 times 5 is positive 35. I cross k is negative j. Now if you have trouble remembering those, we write ijk, I cross j gives k, j cross k gives I, and so forth around the circle. So I did I cross j, which gave me k. Then I did I cross k. I cross k, I'm going against the arrows, I produce negative j, so I put a negative sign. This is my cross product. I still need to use modulus, and I still need to divide everything by 2. So the modulus will be negative 28 squared plus negative 35 squared, all of this divided by 2. Well, I'm sorry, those numbers are a bit large for me to do in my head, so let's make sure you can see that. We have 28 squared, 784, 35 squared, 1225. All of this will be square root, all of this divided by 2. Now, with these calculators, we can let the calculator do most of the hard work for us. So we have the square root of 784 plus 1225, all divided by 2, and it simplifies everything down for us. So we have 7 root 41 over 2. And that's the area of our triangle. We don't have any particular measurement units, so we'll just put units squared. And that could be millimetres, inches, centimetres, light years, anything at all. So that's using vectors. First, we had to define our 3 points in relation to the origin, which we did. Then we had to define our 2 vectors, which were the edge of the triangle. I chose BC and BA. You could have really chosen any 2, so I just happened to do those ones. Once I had my 2 vectors to define the triangle, I used the rule area equals the cross product of the vectors, find the modulus, and then divide by 2. The rest of this is just the details.